It's Saturday night, and we all know what that means. It's time for the Creek Squad to get themselves together, as you can see, with the Nubian Sumo continuing his 11-month high on smoking and drinking. What's up, Sumo?
What's happening?
What you got to smoke? What you got to drink? Shout out to Faye Jackson.
Exactly. Yes.
Stop playing with you, man, before I saw that. What's wrong with you, man? It's a kid show.
All right. So tonight, the Nubian Sumo is powered by the Lost Angel by Crown Heads.
Is that a Christopher Daniels?
No, this isn't Christopher Daniels. That's the fallen angel.
I know. I just wanted
This
to
is the
throw that
lost
similarity.
angel. But this is what the Angels Anvil would have been for 2020. They decided to not put out a 2020 stick for their Angels Anvil series. So in at the beginning of 2021, they came out with the Lost Angel, which is what this is. And then I'm working on the 2021 limited release Maker's Mark tonight.
Now, how much proof is that?
That would be 110, sir.
Jesus. God dang, you got a Neve Schulman hair on your chest. Well,
So yes.
go ahead and burn it up. Get it ready.
What you got going on tonight, sir?
Well, nothing. Supporting PlayStation as they continue their plight, I guess, to take over the world with fan favorite of Ratchet and Clank going across the chest and rivet. Other than that, just getting ready. We got the Super Bowl tomorrow and all those fun things.
Not the Stupid Bowl.
Yeah, looking forward to Puppy Bowl, whatever number, and the Kitten Halftime show. It's going to be exciting. Snoop is teaming up with his hetero life mate, Martha Stewart, and they'll be doing whatever they do without smoking this time, I guess. And tomorrow,
hey, Snoop doing it big now.
Hey,
you done took over Death Row. So we're gonna see what happens with that.
Hey, you make it happen. You make it happen. But tomorrow, just to get that notification in there, make sure those in YouTube or Podbean or Podcast Land tune into the Sideline Junkies because they will be covering and unveiling their all-time Super Bowl team tomorrow morning for the Sunday morning rise. So join KG and the boss DJ and the rest of the Sideline Junkies team on their foosball talking side. But tonight, we ain't got time for that foosball. Mama said we ain't got time for that foosball. We ain't got time for Mr. Coach Klein. Because right now we're about to jump into the thick of things. Into the thick of it. Into the thick of it. Because we're talking Elimination Chamber picks, getting it out the way. Coming up once again in Saudi Arabia. I believe it's upcoming Saturday will be the Elimination Chamber exclusively on Peacock. They're calling it a premium thing, so I don't know what that means. Basically, if you have actually, that's right. Isn't there a free version of Peacock?
Right, there is a free version of Peacock. So yeah,
you have to do the paid version of Peacock to be able to see the Elimination Chamber. So I guess that would make it premium. Bring back WWE Network, please. Just putting it out there. But I figure we might as well start the show hot and heavy, doing our picks, and we're gonna take it from the rooter to the tutor, starting with Naomi and Ronda Rousey going up in a tag team match against Sonya Deville and Charlotte Flair. So, needless to say, this is nothing but a WrestleMania builder. So, Sumo, do you think, I'll give you first pick, the Crooks are going to win this one, Sonya and Charlotte, to build the heat?
Yeah, they'll probably go ahead and give them that, especially with that little caveat that happened Friday with McMahon saying that Sonya Deville couldn't get involved in that match. Mm-hmm. So with Naomi and Charlotte.
Championship, yeah.
So yeah, I'll say that Charlotte and Sonya get the Duke on that one.
Yeah, I agree. That'll be one of our couple dual agreeances. But I will say though that match was really good on SmackDown. The only thing with the finish I wasn't happy with, and not because it was mistimed, I guess. It's just I don't know. The After everything that those two went through in that match, the missed booty bump into a natural selection, and then Naomi doesn't kick out. Like, come on, man. How many times we see Nash? That's like a Stone Cold Stunner is pretty much what she gave her, and then they counted the three off of that. So I think there should have been maybe two or three more moves to sell the importance of the natural selection or how much it had impact wise. But other than that, good match. So moving up the ladder, no DQ match between Drew McIntyre and Madcap Moss. No brainer on that one. I'm giving it to Drew.
Right.
Next up, we'll see if there's going to be a title change. You can do this pick first. Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship versus the Viking Raiders. The one's going to come out on top.
Oh yeah, no reason to take those belts off the Usos. So yeah, and especially to the Viking Raiders because aren't there in their contracts almost up?
Allegedly, yeah. Well, they haven't said anything about them re-signing, but they need as many tag teams as they can get. If they let them go, the only lateral move, if they wanted to be edgy, would be to bring in the Briscoes. Get rid of.
No, they
It's
ain't
almost,
bringing in. Then I'm
but it's
telling you
almost
that
like
they will never see you'll never see the Briscoes in the WWE. I'm sorry.
it's almost like a gimmick swap, though. You know, a hardcore, Raider. I don't know what comparison you could put between the two of them, but get rid of one, slot in another one. Would that be a good jab to FTR? Briscoes talk about they got a bigger check since Tony Khan don't want to cut that money.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, well, we'll see.
It's like one Khan hired us, the other one didn't. What does that say? Um, Raw Women's Championship: Becky Lynch versus Lita. Uh, it's the same thing like another Legends match that's coming up. Becky's walking out. Current champion's going to keep it. What about you? What do you think?
Right.
What
Say I
you
feel the
making love
same
to
way.
over there? What are you making love to?
Hey, what we come up? No.
You can have your hands up all the time and still something be happening. Didn't you see Police Academy?
I wish.
Mahoney set you up behind the podium. Is that what's going on?
No.
Hopefully, people get that Police Academy joke. So who you said Becky? You going with Becky?
Yeah, I'm going with Becky. Yeah, that's a given.
All right, for your WWE Universal Championship, Roman Reigns, Goldberg. This is your pick.
Goldberg loses in 45 seconds.
Smash him. Yep. And this is Goldberg's last match. This is last contractual.
This is last match. This is supposedly the last match on his contract. Yes.
Yep. So there's no word on him re-signing or being offered a contract extension in the Legends category or anything. So and Goldberg has expressed that he still feels like he has a lot to learn from the new talent and would like to pass on some knowledge as well. So it'll be interesting to see if they keep him because Goldberg goes where Goldberg wants to go. So he could show up by the end of the year in AEW just for a one-off type of thing, just because he's Goldberg, and it's his name, so it's not like they're gonna have to call him something different. He's gonna be Goldberg in AEW, doing what Goldberg does, which is a spear. So they better do what they need to do, or they're gonna have some consequences. So now we've got the Women's Elimination Chamber. We got Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Doudrop, Nikki Ass, and they won't screw it up, so I'll say it wrong. And then a to be announced entrant. So this one is kind of a double-edged coin because that TBA could be the winner, and this is for number one contendership for the Raw Championship, or it could just be it could be in Queens Arena. I mean, it could really be anybody. So as much as interesting as it would be for Liv Morgan, promo wise, I think she's still not ready. Becky versus Rhea, I don't know. Dewdrop, possibly. Nikki Ass, possibly. TBA, eh. Oh, that's right. Bianca Belair's in it, so I'm going with Bianca.
I'm going with Bianca too, but I'm thinking the mystery entrant is going to be Sasha Banks.
Yeah. So she's going to get whipped again in the Elimination Chamber?
I mean, Charlotte did call her name.
Yeah.
Before Ronda came out, so I mean, I'm thinking that it could be her.
Yeah, she's I guess done her commercials and maybe filming some of the Mandalorian. She's or the Ahsoka Tano show. So she may have been doing some of those shoots for Disney Plus and Star Wars. So that could be where she was. But Bianca, we pretty much know that's going to be the receipt from SummerSlam.
So, right.
All right. You've got the big one, the Men's Elimination Chamber for the WWE Championship. KG's not here because he's still mad about it. So we've got your reigning champion Bobby Lashley defending against Brock Lesnar, Austin Theory, Matt Riddle, Seth freaking Rollins, and the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Well, let's see. Brock is already pretty much set up for WrestleMania.
No matter what.
But if he wins the Elimination Chamber match, it becomes title versus title.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, they were looking at Riddle to originally win the Royal Rumble. So do they continue do they give the rub to Riddle since the match is already set up for WrestleMania? Or do they go with the title versus title angle? I say Brock.
Yeah, I agree. This one has a lot of different components in it. Because if they unify the belt, then Brock is by default. If Lashley wins, I mean, it's Elimination Chamber, so it's not like Brock, unless Brock takes the fall because of Lashley. Brock doesn't lose any momentum because he's guaranteed in WrestleMania anyway against Roman.
Right.
He's got his title opportunity. This is just for clout.
Right.
I see where you're going with Riddle, but then are they going to start the Riddle versus Orton feud? Because we know how Randy is. And to sit here and look at Riddle is already hard enough seeing him with a tag belt. But they share that.
Yeah, but they may not have a Riddle versus Orton. I mean, they always do that. They always break up tag teams like that. But I don't see where Orton has any animus against him right at this point. So they just amicably
out as the champion and Randy's not in there to have a chance to become champion. You don't think Randy won't be pissed?
Oh, not the way they're running the storyline. No, I don't.
That's the RKO waiting to happen. We've seen it before from Randy.
We have, but that's what I'm saying. We always see that from Randy. And why would and with everybody else, he's always had some sort of animus against them at some point where they buddy now. So I mean, it could be just a see you down the road type thing. I don't know. I just don't see it, or maybe I don't want to see it.
Maybe you don't.
Maybe that's it. Maybe I don't want to see it.
Maybe you like RK Bro after all this academic bowl and all that stuff. But
well, I've never been against RK Bro, but I don't know.
Pro build. Riddle is Riddle. He's playing his role properly, but with Randy playing the straight man. I'm just saying he's the Viper. If he's going to strike, he will probably strike in the Elimination Chamber after the match. The Riddle celebrating, pow, hit him with the RKO and leave. Set that up for WrestleMania. That you could actually build a big, match around over these next couple of weeks. Just why Randy? Why Randy? RKO again. Why Randy? RKO again. Just RKO him all over the place until finally he just says, you know what, Randy, you want to fight me? Fight me. And I'll do it at WrestleMania. If I had to book it on that long run. But in my heart of hearts, I want Lashley to walk out as a champion. Because, like I said, Brock doesn't need it. And I don't really see them unifying. I think that was just a little buzz thing, just to try to get the smart marks out there talking like us. So I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley. Somehow, I think Seth and Brock will probably come to blows. Seth will get taken out, and Lashley will take advantage with the hurt lock and probably just put Brock to sleep. That'll give him a good push for them to promo on the Monday, and then Brock, that'll give Roman a little jab type of thing to say, for promos as we getting up there. That's the best I could come up with, but I'm gonna go with Lashley. I wouldn't be surprised if Brock wins though, but I'm gonna go with Lashley. So that's the Elimination Chamber. Unfortunately or fortunately, because he wasn't going to win anyway, KG is not available. He could be watching, probably not, because he's out there doing whatever he does. He'd be creeping and stuff. He probably don't want us to know he's over there at the Graces. She's been releasing a lot of
pictures. You mean the Greshams?
Well, no, to him it's the Graces.
Oh, okay.
He only recognizes Gresham when he answers the front door. That's about it. Other than that, yeah, he doesn't live there. It's like meet George Jetson. Like, nah, I'm here to see Jane, his wife. So where the street is, it's been a while. So I guess it'd be remiss if we didn't go ahead and let you creep your way in and get your monkey off. Bam!
Creep in and get my monkey off? Is that what you said?
Isn't that what somebody from the Creep Squad would say?
No.
Oh, sorry. You want to try to bring you in again? You want to
No. You've done enough.
I can come up with something different now.
No. You don't strain your brain on that. No.
Oh, yeah, I would have. Trust me. It's been thinking all day.
Right. So, yes, it has been a while, ladies and gentlemen, since we've had that so Nubian. We haven't talked about too much as far as the independent scene. So let's go ahead and get started with New Japan. I figure there's a lot that has happened here in the past few months. So I'm not going to bore you with all the details and whatnot. What I figure I'd do is go have another update as far as who's the champions at this time and see if I can catch you up with some of the storylines. Now, right now, they are going through what they're calling their New Year's Golden Series, which is just a bunch of match cards that they put together on a short tour that's going to end on the 20th of this month. That will lead to March 1st. There'll be their anniversary show that they have every year. And then that will lead to March 2nd, which will be the start of the New Japan Cup, which, if you remember, is the tournament where they determine who gets the automatic shot at any of the singles titles within New Japan. So that includes the World Heavyweight Championship, the Never Openweight Championship, the United States Championship, and since recently they have been including the junior heavyweights, that will include the Junior Heavyweight Championship as well. So starting off with the title picture, the KOPW Provisional 2022 champion at this time since Wrestle Kingdom where they were crowned, is Minoru Suzuki. Now they did have a 12-man Rambo, what they call a Rambo, which is their version of the Royal Rumble, a Royal Rumble type match, where pinfalls, submissions, over the top ropes do count as eliminations. Now on the fourth, they had they had a 12-man Rambo rather, and they went down to the last four of the people that were in the match, and they moved on to January 5th, where those four wrestled in a four-way dance or quadruple threat, if you will, and Minoru Suzuki wound up winning. So then you had on January 4th, you had Zack Sabre Jr. and Tai Chi, who were the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, went up against Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto, who wound up winning those titles. So we have new tag team champions. And they were approached by the House of Torture, which is a sub-faction of the Bullet Club, consisting of Evil, Yujiro Takahashi, Sho, who's originally a member of Roppongi 3K with Yo, and Gig Togo. As I said, Yoshihashi and Goto did win the championships, but they also had tried to regain the Never Six-Man Tag Team Championships with Yo as their third, and wound up losing to the House of Torture, who had won the titles from Yoshihashi, Hiroki Goto, and Tomohiro Ishii. Now, the reason why they replaced Ishii with Yo is because a few weeks before Wrestle Kingdom, Tomohiro Ishii wound up winning the Never Openweight Championship from Jay White here in the States. So he went into Wrestle Kingdom as the Never Openweight champion, I should say. Mm-hmm. So and he is right now still that Never Openweight. Well, and actually, Tomohiro Ishii wound up defending the title against Evil on night one of Wrestle Kingdom and wound up losing to Evil. So Evil is now a double champion because he has the Never Six-Man and the Never Openweight Championship. Now, again, you had the House of Torture approach Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto to a title match for the tag championships, where if it wound up happening that Evil was part of that tag team, he would be a triple champion. He could potentially be a triple champion.
Wow.
So they've been building up to this match. It hasn't really happened yet, but we'll see what happens with that. Now, El Desperado ended up wrestling Hiromu Takahashi for the to defend the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, of which El Desperado did retain. Now, after the match, Master Wato, who just came back from excursion going on about 6 or 7 months ago, was a former young lion in the New Japan dojo, wound up approaching him and getting a pin in a tag team match on El Desperado, which pretty much made him #1 contender for that title. So they did have their match recently, like last week sometime, and El Desperado did retain. So El Desperado is now still your IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. Now, as far as the Junior Tag Team Championships, you had Tiger Mask and Robbie Eagles, who were in a three-way match against Rocky Romero and Ryusuke Taguchi, and also El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori. So Tiger Mask and Robbie Eagles did retain those belts, in which they still have them at this moment. Now there was also a little sidebar, a little side story where El Phantasmo had they were talking about he had a loaded boot, so that came to pass where he did have this metal piece that he had inside of his boot that he was calling his super kick, his sudden impact, and it was knocking out everybody. So they wound up ending that storyline on that. Now, the U.S. Heavyweight Championship, Tanahashi, your champion, did defeat in a no disqualification match Kenta. So Hiroshi Tanahashi is still your United States Heavyweight Champion. Now they are trying to set up a match for him to defend that title at some point, but they haven't decided as to who that would be. And to round out everything for the World Heavyweight Championship, there was a match on January the 4th, the first night of Wrestle Kingdom, where Shingo Takagi wrestled Kazuchika Okada to see who would actually wrestle Will Ospreay on the second night. Now, Shingo Takagi came in as your interim World Heavyweight Champion because Will Ospreay wound up getting hurt and they stripped him of the title, but he was going around claiming that he still had rights to the title, that he was still the World Heavyweight Champion. So they put this match together between Shingo and Okada to determine who would go after and to Will Ospreay to determine the actual world champion. So Okada wound up beating Shingo the first night, and then Okada, which made him the interim world heavyweight champion, and then he went on to defeat Will Ospreay on night 2. So he is now your IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Now, at the end of the match, Tetsuya Naito came out and challenged him for the World Championship and wanted to run the title shot. So at some point, which we're thinking is going to be the next big pay-per-view after the New Japan Cup, or it may be at the anniversary show before the New Japan Cup, it will be Kazuchika Okada versus Tetsuya Naito for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, that'll be the end of that for New Japan. I'm right now on my television. I'm actually watching Warrior Wrestling, which they have a show going on right now in Chicago, where it's going to be some interesting matches. The Briscoes are going to be defending the Ring of Honor World Championships, World Tag Team Championships, against a tag team called the Workhorsemen. There are a couple of journeyman wrestlers who never really made it to any real main event status anywhere, but apparently they're giving them a title shot, and we'll see what happens with that. And I believe tonight is going to be the first night back in wrestling for Athena, who people should know as Ember Moon from WWE. So she'll be facing Thunder Rosa tonight for the Warrior Women's Championship.
Thunder Rosa makes her round
in their main event. So, and right now you got Casey Navarro and Brian Cage wrestling the Acclaimed from AEW. So you've already had Dalton Castle on here. You're expecting Trey Miguel from Impact Wrestling. A few other, and it's supposed to be it looked like it was like an 8 or 9 match card. So it's looking pretty good. As a matter of fact, I got the full card right here in front of me. I was waiting for my screen to come up. So I mentioned Thunder Rosa versus Athena. You got Bandito versus Dante Martin from AEW. The Briscoes versus the Workhorsemen. You had Warhorse versus Dalton Castle. Santana will be making a appearance here as a solo.
Really?
Against Speedball Mike Bailey. Apparently, Santana is going around to a lot of independent shows and doing solo matches now without Ortiz. So that's pretty interesting. You got the former Lince Dorado, who's now calling himself Mascara Dorado, going up against Sam Adonis, who some people may know as Corey Graves' brother.
Right.
So, and he goes by El Rudo as well in the NWA. So, you got that, the Acclaim versus Cage and Navarro, which I just spoke of. There was a four-way match: Alex Zane, Myron Reed, Gringo Loco, and Blake Christian that happened already. And Miranda Alizé faced Sky Blue, which that match has happened already as well. So it was a pretty good card. It's a pretty good show right now. I've been hearing a lot about Warrior Wrestling here over the past few months and whatnot. So I'm gonna try to keep up with them a little bit more. They had they're getting ready to have a 20th show. I think they've only had like maybe 20. This will be like the 20th show that they've had. I don't think they've been out that long. But
Okay.
right now their world champion is Will Ospreay, and they have a lucha champion by who's Sam Adonis. So they don't have the tag team champion yet that I'm aware of. So I'm sure that they'll be working on that at some point. But I'll try to keep everybody posted on Warrior Wrestling whenever I'm able to get a hold of their streams or whatever. Now,
Okay.
also tonight you have a show for the NWA called the Power. They call it Power Trip, and that's going on right now as well. And the card on that is Scion, Mims, and the Ill Begotten, which is Alex Taylor and Rush Freeman, versus Idol Mania Sports Management, which is Tyrus, Black G's, Jordan Clearwater, and Marche Rocket. Then you
Okay.
have a grudge match between Mike Knox and the Pope, D'Angelo Dinero, Elijah Burke, the Pope.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever they usually just call him the Pope, but
Oh, yeah.
you know who I'm talking, you know who I'm speaking of. Um, Tonight was supposed to be Chelsea Green versus Kylie Ray, but Kylie Ray ended up getting hurt in a match last night. So they dropped that. At this point, I don't know if they dropped that match. They replaced Kylie Ray. I haven't found that out yet, but I'll keep you posted to find out what went on with this card and find out if that match was taken off or replaced. Um, Kobe Carino and Rhett Titus are in a 2 out of 3 falls match tonight. An I Quit match with former champion Nick Aldis versus Tom Latimer, the former members of Strictly Business.
Yep.
You have a Kentucky Sweethearts Brawl, whatever that's supposed to be, between OGK, which is Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, versus the Fixers, Jay Bradley and Wrecking Ball Legursky. As far as title matches are concerned, you have the national heavyweight champion Chris Adonis going up and defending his title against Anthony Mayweather. And for those who don't know who Anthony Mayweather is, that is the former Crimson from Impact and TNA back in the day. Anybody that knows who Amazing Red is, which you should know if you're into wrestling, as you should
Yep.
be, then that's Amazing Red's brother.
Yep.
So, Camille will be defending the NWA Women's Championship against Tyron Terrell. And the NWA World Heavyweight Championship will be defended with champion Trevor Murdoch going up against Matt Cardona, the former Zack Ryder. So
Trevor Murdoch's had that belt for.
he's had that belt since the 73rd anniversary. So yeah, that's when he won it. That was
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a few months. It's been a few months.
So good.
So yeah, and he's defended it a few times. He's looking pretty good with it. He reminds you a lot of Dusty with the belt. Just because of his gimmick and everything. But yeah, he's doing pretty well with the belt. So I give it to him. Yeah. Now, the No Surrender pay-per-view will be for Impact on next week, the 19th on Saturday. The card for that will be Jonah, which is the former. He used to be on NXT. What was his name? You remember his name?
You got no. What was his gimmick?
Tsunami. The Tsunami off the top rope.
Oh,
Australian guy. Bronson Reed, yes, Bronson Reed, the former Bronson Reed. He calls himself Jonah or Jonah Rock, whichever,
Okay, I didn't know. Yeah,
depending on
that's the
where
name.
his
That's the name he went with.
yeah, that's the name that was his name before he went to WWE. Is Jonah or Jonah Rock. So he's gone back to that. Then depending on where he is, it'll be Jonah or Jonah Rock. But it's just Jonah in Impact, and he'll be going up against Black Taurus, which is part of the Decay and part of AAA as well. So I think he's the AAA Intercontinental Champion, if I'm not mistaken, or he might, if he still has that belt, or he might have lost it. I'm not really sure. I have to check up on that. Matt Cardona will be defending the Digital Media Championship in a rematch against Jordan Grace.
That's why
you got
there. He's training him.
So you got a grudge match between Eric Young versus Jay White. Going to go with that thing going on. The Bullet Club versus Violent by Design and the Good Brothers. That's going on. You will be having a pay-per-view soon with I believe not yet. As a matter of fact, it's the next match. I knew they were coming up. The Good Brothers versus Gorillas of Destiny was also on that card. So you got the Good Brothers really for the first time going up against Bullet Club for real. Since them leaving. Plus, you've got all the animals that's been going on between the Good Brothers and Tama Tonga, that's been going on Twitter all for at least the last 2 years. So they get to hash that out. You've got Honor No More, which is Matt Taven, Michael Bennett, Maria Kanellis, PCO, and Vincent. You had the recent addition of Kenny King, and all these folks coming from Ring of Honor. They call themselves Honor No More, going up against Team Impact, which is Eddie Edwards, Rick Swan, Chris Sabin, and Rhino. Now, Josh Alexander was on that card as well, was on that team as well. Right. But on this past Thursday, he cut a promo talking about how much he loved Impact. The Impact was his home and all this stuff and whatnot, but he wasn't going to sit around and wait for his title shot, and was making threats about going up against whoever came out of the title match for tonight, which I'll mention in a moment. So then Scott D'Amore comes out and he says, look, I understand your situation. I understand how you're feeling. I know what you're going through. I used to be your coach. I coached you in. I brought you in into wrestling and whatnot. I know, but you gotta play the game. And he's like, I'm tired of playing the game. And if you can't give me my title shot, then I'll end up taking it. And so it comes to, they go back and forth, and it comes to the point where Scott D'Amore not only takes him off of the pay-per-view, but suspends him indefinitely. Now, I'm reading that Josh Alexander's contract is about to be up. So we don't know whether he's going to re-sign or not, but it's kind of funny that all of this is happening, and then Brandy Rhodes brought his name up last Wednesday during her promo against
what's his name? American Top Team.
American Top Team, yeah. Dan Lambert. Yeah, Dan Lambert. So you're getting so we'll see where that goes. Okay, so they will say when Scott D'Amore goes back in the back and tells them that he's suspended Josh Alexander. They're like, what we gonna, he's like, I'm letting y'all pick who y'all want to be on y'all's team. Well, it only makes sense that we get Jonathan Gresham, since he's Ring of Honor, but he doesn't appreciate what they're doing here in Impact Wrestling. So we're gonna go talk to him. Come to find out, somebody jumps him in the back. As always. So you got a match going on in the ring. Violent by Design versus Honor No More. Everybody comes out. It was a big smosh, and then all of a sudden, you got Steve Macklin coming out and helping out the team Impact. So they go back in the bag and they're like, we don't trust you. We don't, you haven't really ingratiated yourself with anybody in Impact Wrestling, whatnot. He says, yeah, but then one of them but Chris Sabin is like, yeah, I get it, but we can't really turn down anybody that's going to help us right now. I mean, this pay-per-view is coming up real fast. So I say give him a shot. So they bring him in. So Steve Macklin is now your 5th member of Team Impact. So we'll see how that goes. For the Impact Knockouts Championship, you got Mickie James versus Tasha Steelz. Tasha Steelz earning that title shot when she won the Ultimate X, the first Women's Ultimate X. So she's cashing in her spot. And in the work for the World Heavyweight Championship, Moose will be defending against W. Morrissey. So we'll see how that goes down. I'm sure Moose will be getting the Duke on that because that was set up him and Josh Alexander, and Josh Alexander, Moose being the one that took the title belt from Josh Alexander minutes after he won it. So
there's a receipt.
Yeah, we'll see. So that'll be his receipt from once that match happens, and probably could be his last match in Impact. So we'll see what happens. So that's it for me.
Whoa. You was supposed to touch bases on the Forbidden Door in AEW. Not so much.
Okay.
Special cameo, which is leading into next week's Rampage. Or was it this week's Rampage?
Yes, you had. Now they gave us AEW tried to give us a little swerve on Wednesday. You got Adam Cole and the Young Bucks messing around again with the World Tag Team Champions.
So that's going up against Roppongi Vice.
Oh no, yeah, it was Roppongi Vice, but then so they set up to go against Roppongi Vice, but Adam Cole stopped everybody. Was like, no, check this out. Come to find out, it was Jay White.
Mm-hmm.
Jay White on his US of J tour.
He's confirmed as All Elite yet, but that was interesting. I guess that was the true Forbidden Door cameo.
Yeah, that would probably be the Forbidden Door cameo. Yeah.
No, Perry's got a question. I don't know if you see it. Perry's got a question about the Riker interview. Have you seen it? I haven't seen it yet.
No, I haven't seen it yet either. So no, I'm not. I guess that's Jackson Riker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I haven't seen that yet.
I can only imagine what he's saying now.
No telling.
Yeah.
No telling.
That could be interesting and more trouble to not help his plight or what? Who knows?
Now, not too long after that segment went off, you had your match for the Face of the Revolution qualifier, and then who comes out?
Your boy, my boy, Keith Lee. And I will say, man, he looked good, fresh off of getting married. So,
yeah, he did have that little. He did. He was basking in his glory, wasn't he?
Yeah, the wedding pictures look really fun. Looks like him and Mia Yim had a great time, and all the guests did that posted pictures. Shelton Benjamin specifically is photos of that situation was funny, and that ever-going banter between him and Mia Yim. But it was good to see that he kept the Limitless thing. It was good to see that he was wearing pretty much the same ring gear, and he looked.
Well, that limitless thing was his from the beginning.
I know, but they could have said, "Hey, disassociate yourself from that character as much as possible." But
because like I said, that limitless gimmick was his prior to WWE. He's had that pretty much his whole career.
Right.
So he wouldn't have gotten rid of that at all. The bask in his glory thing is his too. So all of that. Now you had a lot of people asking why didn't he do his own entrance music, because he always does his own interest music. And so they did an interview with the guy who does all of their interest music. And he was like, did you really want me to pull that man out of his wedding, let alone his honeymoon, just to come into the studio
and cut the vocals?
To cut some vocals, to drop some vocals 2 days before his entrance? Nah, he said he'll have his own at his time. But yeah, this for right now. Just take this for right now.
Oh yeah, and it happened. Perry's saying he owns a trademark to it, so that
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that at all.
So my question is it too early to bask in his glory? Are we so excited at the moment to see Keith Lee that we don't see the forest for the trees? You think it's going to be, oh my gosh, we just had this massive talent come in, and the next thing you know, he's being mishandled? Or do you think he's going to get the proper treatment? Because it can go one of two ways. It can go Jericho CM Punk-esque, or it could go Jay Lethal. We now have, for the first time, polar opposites in AEW when it comes down to bringing in talent to the roster. Establish, huge following talent to the roster. So is it too early?
Well, I'm thinking they're gonna have to do something with him because they're already putting him in this face of the revolution thing. So they've got to push him. They've got to try to push him some to make him relevant for this tournament that they're gonna have or whatever this multi-man match or whatever it's going to be. So they got to push him. It's just a matter of who they're going to put him with afterwards. This after that, if they make him the face of the revolution, who are they going to put him against?
Well, the face of the revolution gets a championship match, don't they? Down the road, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, at some point, but
So I mean, that could be.
But are they going to put? But I mean, right now you got your champion is Adam Page. So would you put him against Adam Page? You'd have to make him a heel.
Hey, you pounce one Adam, you pounce them all, right?
Yeah.
I can't wait for that backstage walk by between Adam Cole and Keith Lee. That'll be just to watch Adam Cole kind of walk back a little bit, like, "What's up, big man?" Like, yeah, like you can still get this. Perry's saying TNT title shot, but I think that may be too low level for Keith Lee. I don't want to.
I don't know,
because in my opinion, I think Keith Lee is their first true big man. He's not the muscular guy like Brian Cage or Hobbs, but he's just a big athletic guy, which is something that they really haven't had. It's just,
True.
A big athletic guy that wasn't super muscle bound. Wardlow is kind of in between because of his size and his ability, so he could go either way. But I think Keith Lee is, he could do some things that other people couldn't when it comes down to it, in different roles, without it being let's have a tag team match type of thing. But I'm just being cautious. I don't want to get too hyped and then be like, "Oh man, Keith Lee's going to kill it," and then 6 months from now, he's on Dark.
No, but that still could be the case. But you're saying. I mean, I get what you're saying, but right now I think they're gonna. I mean, they're gonna
a lot of the talent that people have been waiting to be on TV. I just don't want it. Like I said, you got the polar opposites. You could go CM Punk and Jericho and rocket through the moon type of thing because of what he's got behind him in reference to following, and people just really wanting him to succeed, or they could screw it up. And you got arguably one of the best talents in the world in Jay Lethal going for an FTW championship that means nothing. No disrespect to Taz, but
Well, no, he knows it. He said himself, it's never been an official title. It's a title for title's
but I
sake.
mean,
But
why? Jay Lethal vying for it? That's a waste of Jay Lethal's time. Dante
because yeah,
Martin.
it's a waste of his time because they got nothing to do with him. He's
Joey
not under
Janela.
contract.
I would have bought Joey Janela. That'd have been entertaining. Sonny Kiss, that would be phenomenal. Having Ricky Starks and Sonny Kiss promo off each other. Man, that'd be something. That'd be like Goldust versus Piper almost. Well, actually,
Did you see it?
Goldust versus The Rock.
Did you see the Renee Paquette interview she did with Sonny Kiss?
No, I didn't get a chance to catch that one. I caught a couple snippets of a couple other ones, but
he pushed an idea to Tony Khan for when Dante Martin's brother comes back. Because their tag team name is Top Flight.
Right.
Sonny Kiss wants to be like a flight attendant, as they're like as like a manager, like a valet for them.
On TV? Actually, he should be on the Acclaim since Anthony Bowens is at the Glad thing taking pictures next to Sonya Deville. I mean, if anything, that's where he should be. He could be a dancer listening to Max Caster drop them rhymes.
Well, I mean, I watched the show not too long, a few days ago. There's an organization out of Pennsylvania, I believe. It's called Enjoy Wrestling. And it seems like they were a bunch of LGBTQ plus wrestlers and allies on that card. And the main event for that show was Effie versus Sonny Kiss. And they went a good 20 minutes. I mean, it was good. Sonny Kiss wound up winning the match. But they went a good 20 minutes. It was good. It was a decent card.
Sonny Kiss can wrestle. Sonny Kiss was just Sonny Kiss, but when you take away the people being biased against who Sonny is or what Sonny is, depending on whatever they want to say, and just look at the pure wrestling prowess, Sonny can go.
Yeah,
and we talked about it many times. A talent that should be on Dynamite and Rampage.
But I mean, I don't blame him for trying to be a flight attendant for Top Flight. If it gets you on Dynamite, yeah,
It's been said many, many, many times. If you get a hot mic and you're on television, that's all you need. Now, what you do with it is up to you.
Right.
But, once you get it, that's liquid gold. I mean, Paul Heyman can steal the show just with his facial reactions at the ring at a Roman or Brock Lesnar match. We've seen it multiple times. They cut into Paul Heyman's face, and it tells the entire story for the entire match just off of his facial expressions. So, if somebody seizes the day. Like, I'd give it multiple times to the Bunny. She does a great job with when she was coming out there with Butcher and the Blade. And her expression, she's very expressive in the face. Who else? Matt Hardy does a great job interacting with the crowd. So to have people like that out there versus somebody just at the apron, come on, man, come on. We see it all the time. But if you can be entertaining while you're out there, come on, liquid gold, and people are going to clamor for them. But that's again the one issue with. We know. Like we just talked about it, Perry. Yeah, he can go. We just need him to have his just desserts on main time. But speaking of people that can go, that are kind of getting the shaft, so to speak. Dang, that's coming from Sonny Kiss. That's kind of a bad segue. Biggie. Yeah, I said
you boy. Oh, you gonna get us kicked off here? I swear, you boy. Oh my God.
So, have you seen this this new news that's coming through in reference to Big E and the New Day? How Vince is quietly eliminating the term New Day, and it's just being touted as Kofi Kingston, well, Big E and Kofi Kingston until Xavier comes back, and we'll see what happens. But there is to be no more reference of the New Day as a tag team. In addition to that, there is no expectation right now, which the heavy rumor, according to PW Insider, is that a lot of the boys and girls in the back are not happy with this fact that Big E is on the back burner when it comes down to a title shot. They feel like he got shafted, and there's no plans for him to get back in that championship picture. So that's a two-folder type of thing. That's a you got somebody that's been putting in work that finally gets their opportunity. Technically, two people, being Kofi and Big E, finally get their opportunity. And since it's February, and there's all this equality talk in the NFL, that's kind of a thing in WWE as well because they're black, but then also Bobby Lashley. So I mean, it kind of negates it in a way. But still, not the best optics. What's your thoughts?
Well, they started this whenever they made Big E a single. That was the beginning of the start of this. So
Had the
they
draft.
make Big E a single. They break up the New Day pretty much, which they've been planning on. They've been talking about doing for a while, but they couldn't do it because they were selling too much merch. You know, so now it's to the point where it's divide. It's pretty much divide and conquer now. You got Xavier out. You don't know when he's coming back. You got Big E, who they done dropped out of the title picture altogether. Put him back with Kofi. Put him on SmackDown. No title, no type of title shots for Big E. They're not in title contention for the tag championships.
Mm-hmm.
They can't call themselves the New Day because Big E's not really New Day anymore, technically.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's just it's pretty much they're not necessarily the beginning of the end, but they're on the road.
And it's weird. They're not even breaking them up in traditional sense of a turn like they did with the Shield. They're just kind of erasing them for the
Phasing them
moment.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see if the fan because the entrance is still there. I think it'll hit the fans when their entrance music changes. When there's no more power positivity, augmented reality thing spinning around and all that. I also wonder if it's kind of subtle retaliation against Xavier Woods because he's been doing his other television gig kind of like a Cody on G4, and he's been hanging out with Adam Cole and Cesaro
Right.
on that network.
The party has
Getting
been
back
back
together.
together. So
So
they're doing something in the studio. I don't
yeah,
know what they're doing music or what they're doing, but I mean they were
that's
back
the
together for
side
a
thing.
minute.
That's the side thing. But like I said, on I guess you would call it national television on G4, having certain people there, even though we know everybody knows everybody, and they all intermingle. That's kind of interesting. Well, I guess let me say this sidebar. It's interesting when they want to invoke kayfabe for crap they shouldn't. So we can't talk about them existing, but yet if y'all had a good photo opportunity like Sonya Deville posing with Anthony Bowens, okay, at Glad, that's a good photo opportunity. Okay, we can let that slide. We can be like, well, Britt Baker was at NXT and we kind of shot her and showed her on TV. Like, yeah, that shot happened. Okay, but we're just not going to put AEW in front of it. But then we have, yeah, Mickey James is the Impact Knockouts Women's Heavyweight Champion. But there's some words you can't put in there. You can't say heavyweight. You can't say world.
You
You
can't
can't
say
say certain
you
words.
can't say
So,
world champion. You
so
can't
they had
say
to shrink that
impact
down.
champion.
So it's like, how are we invoking kayfabe
Can't use
situations?
knockouts. Yeah.
Yep, when it's convenient. But then after that, nope. Every time Vince wants to do an edict or a memo going out, you can't say this, you can't say that at convenience.
Now, could this be the Xavier heel turn that we've been talking about coming up?
Possibly, but what would be the motivation?
The same motivation we thought it would be back then,
But the heel turn would be to break up the group. But if they're not referencing the group, then what are you
But no,
doing?
he comes back to him. I mean, as far as WWE is concerned, like you said earlier, the New Day is Xavier and Kofi.
Mm-hmm.
So Xavier comes back and it's like, okay, you my boy and everything. I'm glad to see you back on SmackDown, but are you trying to replace me? I mean, you go off on your own. We give you the blessing to go off on your own. You win the Intercontinental Championship, you win the World Championship. You doing your thing, but you left us behind. I mean, you just went over there and forgot all about us. And then you lose the belt. You come back to SmackDown after I'm hurt, and you try to take my place.
Yeah. Or you could take it a step further. And his issue is, so Kofi, you become champion, we celebrate, and then you get squashed. That's it. You're done. Biggie, you become champion, we celebrate, and boom, you get squashed. So you two have both had a shot and did nothing with it. I've not had a shot at all. And I'm the king of the ring.
Right.
So now I'm gonna go out and get what's mine.
Right. It's my turn.
I can see, I can see that too. And they're like, well, we'll support you. What are you talking about, Woods? Nah, I can't take your support. We'll see what happens when I become champion. So yeah.
I mean, because they can change, because WWE can change the narrative at any time. Just like Seth freaking Rollins.
But he was already Seth freaking Rollins.
Right, but they actually changed his name. It's in his banner now, Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah.
But then you turn around and everybody's you're Kevin freaking Owens. You're Sonya freaking Deville.
Randy freaking Orton. So yeah.
You're freaking Otis.
There's a lot of freaking going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of freaking going on in the WWE.
And according to Aubrey Edwards, if you follow her on Twitter, she tweeted out there was some ass licking going on too.
Oh my God, what?
Well, it was a typo. I forgot the two ladies that she was talking about for the Rampage match. But she said so-and-so is really, she wanted to say kicking some ass.
Kicking some ass, but it came out licking some ass. Wow.
Well, she typed it. So yeah, oh man, the memes and the troll, oh my God. She didn't reply to him, which thankfully she couldn't.
Oh, of course she better not. just digging that hole a little deeper.
But what didn't help her was that picture that Thunder Rosa posted of her looking like she's about to do a pile driver or a tombstone of some kind. And I don't know who the young lady was that she was about to plant on the ground, but her butt is just all in the face. So there was just a bunch of those images right there. It's like, yeah, you're just gonna have to take that one, Aubrey. You know,
pretty much.
Now you really know. But you did mention this guy, so let's talk about this guy because he was in a recent interview, and he was asked about his thoughts on his Mount Rushmore of wrestling. So, in good worker fashion, he asked the intelligent question: are we talking about top draws, or are we talking about your best workers? So he
he's been listening to you with your caveats and your rules and your conditions and whatnot. Yeah.
I mean, in some instances, it makes sense, which I agree with him, because they're two different things. And some people, are going to look one way. Some people are going to look the other way. So I wanted to give you his two.
I get it.
So his top draws, money drawers, Number 1 is Hogan. Number 2 is Cena, and this isn't in hierarchy. This is just the top 4 that you had on there because they're all equally.
Top 4 money draws. Okay, right. Cena, Hogan. Okay.
Hogan, The Rock, and Stone Cold, which to me can't really argue with that. I don't know. Well, you can make an argument for Ric Flair in there somewhere between Flair and Hogan. But I think
he's WWE. He's WWE.
Well,
he can say it, but
I would say Hogan would still beat out Flair.
Hogan would still beat out Flair, but he wouldn't mention Flair, A, because of the negativity that would come behind it.
Well, no, you'll see.
And B, because Flair didn't draw most of his money in the WWE. So
right.
So that's why he said what he said. That's why he didn't include Flair.
You agree with my boy John Cena being up there?
Yeah, of course. I give Cena that. Yeah, he drew plenty of money.
Dwayne is Dwayne. There's no argument there. Period.
Yeah.
And Stone Cold is, no argument. I mean, those 4 are still drawing from T-shirts and other, wearable items. Actually, I think all 4 of them have a specialty type belt that you could buy on WWE Shop. That is priced anywhere between $800 to $1,500, I think, on the high end. But what about the Undertaker? You don't think Taker should be on there?
Between those, who would you replace him with?
That's a tough one because the only expendable one would be Cena.
Nah, I'd say Rock.
Because Cena has the merchandise. He's the draw for he's got that on lock. But we're talking multiple arenas putting butts in seats. That's where that argument could come into place. The Rock has put more butts in seats than Cena technically. At the height of come on now. And when The Rock left, that's when Cena's T-shirts rose. But before that, anything Brahma Bull was selling and selling and selling and selling. So I don't know. I mean, I just wanted to get your thoughts. It'd be interesting.
Like you said, it's a hard sell to put any of those 4 out of that top 4. So
So it's going to be interesting. So that's the money draws. Here's his Mount Rushmore for workers. The first one, like I said, not in any order, just the first one I have down, Shawn Michaels, which Shawn Michaels is even recently, as he said, Ric Flair said, on his top Mount Rushmore. Eddie Guerrero, Bret the Hitman Hart, who is also on Ric Flair's. The reason why Ric Flair was talking about his, as a side note, is he was fielding the question, does he think that Chris Jericho is a transitional super talent at the level of a Shawn Michaels and stuff like that? And Ric Flair said that, truthfully, he believes the answer is no, not disrespecting, or the greatest of all time, I'm sorry. Not disrespecting Chris Jericho by any means, but he said, and I quote, "Even I do not think I'm better than Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart." So Ric Flair was giving the flowers to Shawn and Bret with no knock to Chris Jericho, but I just wanted to put that out there. So with Shawn, Eddie, Bret, and then his 4th was Bryan Danielson. So that's what I was saying. It was, as candid as you could get with this one, talking up a talent that is not WWE affiliated currently. So
well, Bryan, he has history with Bryan Danielson outside of WWE.
Oh yeah.
So that's another reason why he probably named Danielson. Because they got connections with Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, as far as workers are concerned, I have no argument.
Anybody that you would argue out? I mean, no disrespect to him, but I'd say the two that could be argued out, in my opinion, on the bubble would be Eddie Guerrero and Bryan Danielson, possibly. Because there's an argument some people were saying in the comments about AJ Styles. There's the argument that AJ could, slot in there somewhere. Granted, this is Seth Rollins' opinion, but in the grand scheme of who would be on her, which we've talked about this, and everybody has thrown people's names out there, but for a ring worker, AJ. Who else could you put up there? Now,
it would be pretty controversial, probably.
New Japan people, it's not.
No, I'm just saying. No, but I'm saying. I mean, it could be controversial as hell, but Chris Benoit.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, second to Brett, his body movement is arguably one of the cleanest, period, in all of sports entertainment. Because I would just marvel at watching Brett take. We all seen it and just like, God, he just got killed. That whip into the turnbuckle where he just hits it with the chest is like, wow. And
but I mean, there's so many that could be on that list as far as workers. I mean, Owen Hart.
Yeah. We're just gonna name the Dungeon family at that point.
Pretty much the whole Hart Dungeon, pretty much. I mean, there's so many that you could add to that. I mean, you could replace Eddie with AJ.
Yeah, like I said,
look at AJ's body.
I mean, some people could make.
No, I'm saying that. I'm not saying AJ couldn't be in there, but like you said, this is somebody's opinion. I'm not arguing that AJ wouldn't be. But I'm also saying that there's so many people you could put in that list. But I'm not going to argue his list because I can see where he sees that list. I can see where he would make that list. So, no issue with me.
No. I mean, his opinion is his opinion. If it's any side note, we'll be doing our own little arguments in the very near future as we decide as a show who is the best wrestler of all time. That's going to be some men and women. That's going to be some interesting conversation because I'm quite sure James's number one pick is going to be John Cena, and I have to talk him out of it. But
well, I mean, he is a bitch. So
you're right. It should be Booker T. Or maybe James's number one boy, the one he marks out for more than anybody, Rich Holmes. We'll put Rich Swann on top right after the Killer Bees at the
exactly. Yeah. No, everybody knows that my number one will be Shaska Watley. Pistol Pez Watley. That's my man.
Well, I mean, we'll work on that. So that'll be something that is coming. So be prepared for that. But as it come to my attention, we like a bacon egg sandwich. We're done. Ain't that crazy? No KG. We got a nice, solid show. No OT. We'll leave him to talk all that foosball all day. But we need to get done on the mothership. So you got to
he got something going on in the morning tomorrow morning, right?
Yeah. He's got that best all Super Bowl team that they'll be talking about on the Sunday Rise. Yep, all-time Super Bowl team. So definitely tune in. I believe it'll be streaming on Podbean and other streaming things. Or hopefully they get on camera and do a little bit on Facebook and stuff. That'd be pretty awesome. So that way those that are itching for some football talk before the football talk begins, Sideline Junkies will be making that happen and commanding everything and all that other crap that's been going on in the NFL. And maybe talk about some black people that can become coaches.
And speaking of some compelling competition, some compelling matchups, y'all can tune in to Straight to Tape podcast on Tuesday, which they'll be doing a special airing at 7:30 on Tuesday instead of 8 o'clock, because this will be the unofficial lead-in to the matchup, the versus matchup, Anthony Hamilton versus Music Soul Child.
Mm.
So that should be interesting to see how they come up against each other. So shout out to my man Perry, who's been very vocal tonight, our floating fourth. So y'all catch him, then
they do
all the rest of the Straight to Tape crew.
They do a versus hologram, Prince versus Michael Jackson. How about that?
Oh, Prince would win all day.
That'll be a serious discussion there. Serious.
Oh wow! I used to get into fights back in middle school over Prince versus Michael Jackson.
We'll see.
Yeah. But, so yeah.
Well, I think KG will probably take MJ because he always out there trying on do some moonwalking and stuff. He crazy. He ain't got no job.
I've been seeing, and just kind of, I've been seeing a lot of stuff on like Facebook and Instagram where they talking about this person, who would win between this person versus that person, as far as wrestling and whatnot. And anytime anybody asks me that, I say the same thing. I'm like, who's the booker?
Yep. All day.
Who's the booker? Who's
all
the booker? Day. What territory are they in? that all makes
the parameter right there.
Right, exactly. I mean, who are they wrestling in the NWA or the AWA? Who's your book? Is Dusty your booker or is it Bill Watts? I mean, come on, who's got the pencil on that match? So who's the producer? And these days, like, who's the producer? Is Arn Anderson producing it? Is what's old boy Tyson? Is Tyson Kidd? Is he booking it? I mean, what's going on? Who's producing it?
If it's the women, I'd give it to Tyson Kidd or Fit Finlay. I know we would get probably a fair shake. If it's the men, Shane Helms. If we take a WWE bookers, Shane Helms or Road Dogg. The two, I believe, would give a fair shake. Yeah, that's right, Perry. If Russo, nobody wins. Except Judy Bagwell, because she may finally get off that pole.
So, yeah, I mean, I asked the same question. I know people ask me that, and I say that, and it gets on their nerves. So I'm like, it's relevant.
Yeah.
So, I mean, come on.
If they get a top 10 of the best bookers, have we really had a really good booker of the modern
there were some good bookers out there. I mean, Mike Graham was a great booker. What's his name? They always imitating him all the time. Damn, I can't think of his name now.
From what promotion?
He had the NWA. Wound up going to Australia. God, I can't remember his name. But he was a good booker. Everybody talks about him as being a great booker. Now, when you talk about bad bookers, now
that's a lot of them.
Now, yeah, it's a good many of them too. Like people talk about Vern Gagne like crazy.
Yeah,
they talk bad about Dick the Bruiser when he was a booker.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to talk bad about Bill Watts, Ric Flair. It's a bunch of bad ones out there. Kevin Nash, yeah. I mean, but yeah, there are some great bookers out there.
There's a lot. What about Booker T? You think you're a good booker? That's a double-edged question.
It's in his name, so I would hope so. But especially with his own organization going on, he got a lot of wrestlers coming out of that organization. He is so. I would think that he was probably. I mean, he got.
I think AEW is the first one to really mention it at that level. Well, no, I apologize. No, WWE did in certain vignettes. So talk about the Usos and Naomi coming from Reality of Wrestling or Booker's thing, but then they kind of just glanced over it after that.
Yeah, because Ember Moon
But
came out of
was
there.
it AQA?
This girl
Wait, wait,
AQA, because she was in WWE. I found out because I didn't realize who she was, but
was
she
she
was in
part of Mae
she was in,
Young?
no, she was I don't know, I don't remember if she was in Mae Young or not, but she was Rainier Ramirez. I don't know if you remember her, but she had like a nice 5-match run. They were giving her a little bit of a push
Okay.
because she had won a few matches and then she just disappeared and they let her go. But she's always been AQA and then she just got signed to AEW. So but yeah,
She's all over.
he's got a lot of guys and girls, a lot of girls coming out of that organization. So
Yeah.
yeah, he must be doing something right. There's a lot of folks coming out of Texas. Period.
Yep.
There's a lot of smaller organizations in Texas that people are coming out of that are doing some pretty good work out there. So,
Especially that midget wrestling and whatever. I've been seeing some.
now I haven't seen them midget wrestling in a
Oh,
while.
these fools out there putting in work on some of these feeds. That and then there's gimmick wrestling where people are dressed up as different characters like Cobra Commander and all kind of crazy stuff wrestling. Somebody was in a furry outfit. Like these wrestling things is popping up out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, I mean,
As all
oh, you really gonna see them
wrestling
come out the
federation
woodwork
stuff.
WrestleMania week? So, because everybody that's got a wrestling organization gonna have something going on in Dallas that weekend. That
Oh
week.
yeah, this is going to be nuts. So that'd probably be a good idea
Especially
to
Perry,
cover that.
especially Perry's favorite GCW. I mean, they already got Effie's show put together. They got a couple of all black cards for the culture. I think Alley
Yeah,
Cat has an all women's card, and
did I come up? Okay.
yeah, WrestleCon, yeah, WrestleCon, yeah. So yeah, you got all kinds of wrestling organizations bringing shows into the Dallas area. All that whole week. So it'll be interesting to see, who comes out of that because it was WrestleCon. It was WrestleCon where Jordan Grace was discovered.
Mm-hmm.
They discovered Jordan Grace at WrestleCon, and they put her in that first AEW show.
Yeah,
They
that's
had
where.
a women's like battle royal or something. They put her in that show, and then she just blew up from there.
That's where KG first saw her too. So, needless to say, the ticker is still going. For to wrap that up, we've done everything we need to do. We pulled a solid hour and 20 some plus. So it's time for us to get up out of here because there's a Super Bowl tomorrow. Maybe you want to sleep around, do whatever we need to do. You could go creep, smoke and drink, and I'm probably gonna go to bed. So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. As always, diversify your bonds.
Konnichiwa, bitches.